My name is Carol Rose, and I live in Detroit, Michigan. My story began in July of 1988 when I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. I received a call from my gynecologist telling me that there was a cancer there, and she expressed such sorrow at that, and she apologized. She was so very, very sorry. I only remember that I responded to her that I was not going to die and that I would survive this. After that, I went and I sat by the Detroit River and I prayed to ask for guidance on what I should do. And I was told to do three things. One, to eat macrobiotically. Two, to see a doctor in Detroit, Michigan who practiced and used macrobiotics to help her patients. And three, to call another alternative medicine doctor. For once in my life, I was totally obedient, and I did all three of those things. In seeing this Dr. Jewel Pukram, she put me on the macrobiotic diet and got me started. And so I really want to express my gratitude to her, because without her, I would not have known what to do. After being with her for about a few months, I realized that I really needed to see the person who just knew the most about macrobiotics as far as I was concerned, and that was Michio Kushi. So in March of 1989, I went to Boston and saw Michio Kushi. And he was the absolute most loving, gentle, encouraging person. Whereas before I had been criticized because I did not tell my family that I had cancer. I told no one except one minister, and the doctors knew. And I'd been criticized for that, but when I saw Michio and told him that I had not told my mother nor my children, he said to me, "I want to commend you for wanting to maintain harmony and peace in the family." And I knew at that moment that I was in the right place. Michio then revised my diet and told me to do all the wonderful things, sing a happy song, put plants in my house, and it really was calling for quite a big change, because I realized that the illness was a wake-up call for me. And if I continued to do the things that I had done before, I would never overcome it. I would never get over it. And like so many of the dear people that I knew, I might even succumb to it. I had the courage to not have surgery, to not have chemotherapy, and to not have radiation, because I had seen so many dear ones, both in my family and friends, who had followed that route, and they had not survived. So I figured I had nothing to lose. And with Michio's help, Dr. Pukram's help, and I think with a lot of help from God, I proceeded to follow that program. And I did it. I was very, very conscientious, very, very serious about it. I lost a lot of weight, and that was okay, because that was a part of the cleansing and the healing process. One other thing came to me in that whole process of healing and recovery. We always hear people speak about fighting cancer or fighting any condition. I came to the realization that if I tried to fight the cancer, I would in effect be fighting myself. And I realized that what I needed to do was I really needed to love myself. I really needed to love that part of my body that had developed a condition. I needed also to express gratitude for that part of my body that would let me know that something was not going right in my body. So I began to just also send real loving thoughts to my body and to express gratitude for that part of my body that had given me three wonderful, quite extraordinary children. I think I proceeded on and continued with the program, and I want to say program and not diet, because macrobiotics is just far more than just a diet. So I sang the song, and I went for the walks, and I did the body scrubs, and everything else that was on that list. Stopped cooking on an electric stove that I had upstairs in my kitchen and began to use the gas stove that was in my basement that I could have been using all along, but I wasn't. But I did those things because that was what I was told to do. Those were the things that worked. And I feel so grateful that I think it was in about 2 years, Michio encouraged me by telling me that I was clear. But it's still, I couldn't go back to the oncologist. I did not see the oncologist from 1989 to 1994 because he didn't understand what I wanted to do. And when I asked him to give me pictures of a healthy uterus so I could visualize that and see that and dream of that as for myself, he brought me pictures of diseased uteruses that had been removed from other people. So I knew he didn't know what I was about. So I decided the best thing for me to do was not to see him. In 1994, I decided it was time to go back and see this very wonderful and gentle doctor. So I called his office. And when I finally appeared, he told me he really thought I was calling because I was dying. Well, I wasn't, and he was amazed at how well I looked.